Hi, patrons and people who waited a year. And speaking of years, New Year's right around the corner. This is the New Year's special. Let me get something for the thumbnail. This is, of course, eggnog, because I don't drink champagne. Well, I do. Actually, champagne, out of all the boozy things, champagne is okay. I like the sweet drinks, and clearly, because I got my eggnog here. Let me do something kind of thumbnail-ish. Where can you best see that I'm holding eggnog? Right there? Great. Thumbnail time. It's the end of the year special, and I'm going to get a sip in right now. Continuity. That's how you know if I had to do a second take, because there's less now. Anyway, yeah, end of the year special. A lot happened last episode, huh? All right, let me think of what I'm going to say. What am I going to say? From all of me at Fix My Carcast, happy holidays and happy new year. And then this is where the theme song goes. Just leaving a gap. You're listening to Fix My Carcast, hosted by Bear Claw Billy, and this is episode 103, the 2023 Year in Review special. Comedian and musician Keith Hebert will be dropping a ball later, but first, housekeeping. This is the show where you pick what I say and how I say it. Pick a topic or prompt by donating to the GoFundMe, and vote on the gimmick by joining my Patreon for just $1 a month. Join at the $5 or higher level and also get bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes footage. Links are in the description. Also down there, merch. Get yourself some merch. It's too late to shop for gifts, but get yourself a gift. The gift of Fix My Carcast on your titties. The total raised for paying off my car repair debt is still holding at $1,571. Also, when we get to $2,000, we unlock an automatic show gimmick, which is I will watch all the Fast and Furious movies back to back and then record my podcast at the end. Fun fact, did you know that this whole podcast disappears when we hit $10,000? Should every gimmick be forgot and never brought to mind? That's up to you. Hey, do you like the theme song? No? Well, if you make a donation of $50 or more, in addition to picking an episode topic, you get to change one thing about the theme song forever. Unless someone changes it back. Want me to add a countdown? Ooh, I'll do it. $50. No new patrons this week. Bummer. Now it's time for a topic suggestion. I'm a little parched, so I'm going to have a little drink here. That's half eggnog, half champagne. We're between the holidays. I'll suggest topics I think I could easily talk about for a whole episode, though admittedly, I think the show is more fun when it's something I'm completely clueless about. I love this one. Something I could talk about is the location of Purgatory, Maine. No joke, my podcast distributor told me the last episode got a listener in Purgatory, Maine, which is some Stephen King shit I have never heard of. Friend of the show, Stephen King. I started to pull on this thread, which, trust me, it gets weirder. And then I remembered, I don't work for free. Now, for $10, I'll just keep Googling. For $500, I'll drive there, interview the locals, get the history of how it became Purgatory. I will talk to the Google Maps offices about what the hell this is and why it's on the map. You name it. I'll go all out. The higher the donation, the higher the enthusiasm. Want to know more about Purgatory, Maine? Donate today. Checking in on the best city in the world, based on which city listened to the last episode the most, and we've got us a three-way. Ooh. New York, Portland, Maine, and Westbrook, Maine. All had 2 listeners this week. That's my first doubles night tie. Ties are broken by whichever city listened to the most episodes, and our big winner, you know him, you love him, is Portland, Maine. Congratulations, Portland, Maine. Let it be known that your M&M's World Disney Store and I Love NY Gifts Luggage are the best in the world for 7 days. Sometimes the joke one ends up being an actual contender. Last episode, Wasn't very eventful. I just watched some debatable Christmas movies. Unfortunately, there is no video of the last episode up on Patreon because a bat knocked the camera over. Ugh, wild. But luckily, it's working just fine now. That said, head over to Patreon for a bonus episode where I talk about the debatable Christmas movies in spoilery depth. So, listen to the Jingle Season special if you haven't seen those movies, and then listen to the bonus episode once you've watched them all, because they're all mostly good for watching if you want to watch a movie. If your criteria is, I would like to see a movie, all 4 of those movies are movies. All right, so I'm gonna have to explain one of the gimmicks before I get to the gimmick poll. So here I go, and it says explain, and I probably should have taken some notes. Folks, I have a rare once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The next episode of Fix My Car Cast is going to drop on January 1st, 2024. And if you care anything at all about intellectual property or copyright law, January 1st, 2024 is the day that the Disney short animated film Steamboat Willie goes public domain, which is the first appearance of Mickey Mouse. Now, there's some wishy-washy legalese about how public domain Mickey Mouse as a character will be, but the law is clear. The film is public domain, which means I can play it on my show with 0 legal ramifications. Probably. I've only kind of looked into this. I've just done some Googling. So basically, sticking it to Disney. I mean, it's not sticking it to them, though. I'm just sharing a delightful film that Disney no longer owns, and I bet that just kills them. Anyway, I will say this. I think that Disney probably has something up their sleeve for that day as well. I kind of can't wait to see what it is. But nevertheless, I just wanted you to have some backstory on one of the gimmicks, which is a beautiful LOL to a very powerful rodent. Now, let's talk next week's gimmick poll. These are your choices for next week's episode gimmick. They are: play the film Steamboat Willie in its entirety, share my New Year's resolutions, put up a new calendar, and our returning gimmick, do it like a sermon. Let's recap. The once-in-a-lifetime opportunity: play the film Steamboat Willie in its entirety on the day it goes public domain. Number 2, share my New Year's resolutions. Number 3, put up a new calendar. And our returning gimmick, number 4, do it like a sermon. Vote your heart, but also fuck a mouse. Remember that any gimmick that gets just a single vote is eligible for a second chance in 6 weeks. Be sure to vote over on Patreon. The poll closes December 28th at noon Eastern America time. All right, time for today's gimmick, which is complicated. There's technically no gimmick for today because it's our year in review special. Though I did put up a placeholder poll consisting of a 4-word end-of-year message. The word that got the most votes was happy. So I guess today's gimmick is happy. Of course, gimmicks don't start until housekeeping is out of the way, in case any of them prevent me from sharing vital information. But now, we are entering the gimmick zone. From this point on, gimmicks are active and everything is improvised. There's no sponsored topic for today's episode, and it's the year in review special. So today's topic is looking back at 2023. I'm going to take a pensive drink of my champagne nog. Curdly. And let's just talk about how this year has gone. Now, I do have to admit something up front. We already had a 100th episode special, and the Jingle Season special also crammed in an awful lot from the history of this show. So it feels a little redundant to go episode by episode on the last year when I already did a special going through everything that's happened in the whole show. So I'll try to keep like looking back on the show as a whole to a minimum. But I do have some stats for you. Do you like stats? I can give you some stats. My podcast distributor actually gives you a rundown of some of your stats at the end of the year. So you want to take a look at those with me? Great. So this is the Buzzsprout Backtrack 2023. Fix My Car Cast, hosted by Bear Claw Billy. That's me! Well, what do they have to say? Your 2023 podcasting recap. 51 episodes, which I feel like that's not accurate. I'm still happy that it logs it as 51 episodes, but the year ain't over yet, baby. When I put out the next one, that's 52. That means an episode a week for a whole year. I should be pretty proud of myself. And they give you the weekly warrior badge. You averaged 0.98 episodes per week. I averaged one, baby, because this one hasn't been uploaded yet. What do you think, we're all slacking for the holidays? Not me. I am always down to CarCast. All right. Time for the reveal of the #1 city. Now that's this year, not all time. I want to make that very clear. These stats are just the last year. This is all 2023, not all time. The answers are actually different for all time. But I'm not going to tell you what those are. I'd be happy to share it with you if you sponsored it as a topic, though. So the #1 city, drum roll please, let me just drum on Britney Spears' face. The #1 city listening to Fix My Car Cast, the city with the most people with questionable taste who've decided that this is a thing they need in their lives all the time is Portland, Maine. Most popular city, the year of 2023. Portland, Maine, listened to Fix My Car Cast more than any other city. Good job, Portland, Maine. Other notable cities include Biddeford, Maine, New York, New York, Poland, Maine, and Westbrook, Maine. I think Maine really likes my show. But so does New York, because I'm very cosmopolitan, as we all know. Oh, I'm having such a happy time. I forgot that I technically decided that the gimmickless episode would have a gimmick of happiness, and I'm happy to give you a gimmick. All right. What other stuff do we have here? Yo! I got the Jet Setter badge because Fix My Car Cast was listened to in 14 countries this year. That's pretty cool. #1 with a bullet. Ooh, phrasing. United States. Sorry, we have a real problem with those. And then let's see who our runners-up are. Germany. Good looking out, Germany. Wink, thanks for your help. Then Sweden, United Arab Emirates, and Canada. Aw, shucks. Isn't that nice? Honestly, that's really great. Thank you to everyone everywhere who listens to this show, but especially thank you to these places that really seem to like me. Thanks for liking me. Let's see what other info this gives me. Top episodes. Ooh-wee. Now, I gotta say, again, it's not technically the end of the year. The Jingle Season special last week is honestly doing really well. I don't know if it would show up on this list, but nevertheless, I am a little bummed that these end-of-year lists technically come out before the year is over. But let's go. Top episodes of Fix My Car Cast in the year 2023. Place your bets. What do you think they are? You probably have a couple of guesses. And by the way, I don't know if these are episodes that came out in 2023. Let me do a quick scroll. They seem to be. Yes, okay. They are episodes that came out in 2023. It's not overall. Once again, the overall most popular episodes are definitely different than this. So, top episodes of 2023. Oh, let's go from the bottom. Sorry. Episode 53, The Secret Gimmick, published on January 9th, 2023. That is your number 5. Oops, if you're watching the video version, you got a freebie. So yeah, Secret Gimmick. That is, of course, the one where I did not tell the listeners what the gimmick is. If you pay for the Patreon and you're looking at the video version, you can see what the gimmick is. But the gimmicks were put on a game show wheel. I spun it and I did whichever one came up. I might do that again. That was really fun. Anyway, that is my 5th most listened episode of 2023. Let's see what number 4 is. Hear Me Out About J.K. Rowling, episode 61. That one was originally published March 6th, 2023. And that's a fun one because my mermaid sister stopped by. So love you, Audrey Sparkleface, wherever you are. I'm sure she's swimming about. All right, the 3rd most popular episode. We are up to the bronze. Episode 60, The Bondness of the Bang Bang. That is, of course, the one where I talk about how Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is technically a Bond movie. I mean, it's not really, but it has a lot of Bond elements to it. Did I say when that aired? That was February 27th, 2023. A lot of, oh, well, you know, it makes sense that older episodes have longer to get listened to. So maybe that's why they're the most popular. Who knows? All right. On to the silver medal. The second most popular episode of Fix My Carcast in 2023 was episode 52, Sick Beats. That was the first episode of the year in 2023. And also, I made a lot of fun music on that one, so hope you liked it. Yeah, I was really sick the very first week of 2023, and I couldn't talk, so I just put up a bunch of music, and I guess people really liked it because it took silver. All right. Brace yourself. I can't reach Brittany, so I'm going to drum on this DeLorean. All right, ready? What do you think the number one episode of 2023, released in 2023 and downloaded in 2023? What do you think it was? Well, it was... Because hey, wait a damn minute. Hey, guess what? They didn't need to come out in 2023. This is all episodes, but how many got downloaded in 2023? And I'm very impressed because I'm tacky, episode 36, which was published September 12th, 2022, but apparently that popularity has been rolling for so long, it is still number one of 2023. So it is the number one episode of Fix My Carcast in 2023, and it didn't even come out in 2023. Yeah, that's the banger episode, and I owe that to one thing and one thing only, and it ain't my talent. I owe that to the fact that I had to incorporate, sneak in 10 Weird Al Yankovic lyrics. And I do not know a more rampant fan base than Weird Al Yankovic. You Trekkies have got nothing on Weird Al fans. Straight up. Now, I'm not going to say it's not a good episode. I mean, I also got asked to talk about, like, camp, and I got into, like, camp and punk and popularity and subversion, and, like, I kind of really went on a rant. So, it stinks that it's also a Weird Al themed episode, because I'll never truly know if people like my impassioned rants about not caring about what's popular, or if they just love shit with Weird Al in it and they want to see if I got in that big lyric from Albuquerque. And if you haven't listened, go see if I got in that big lyric from Albuquerque. No, sorry, not Albuquerque. Totally wrong song. Forget everything I said. You know the one with the big lyric. I mean, Albuquerque, bar none, has the most lyrics of any Weird Al song. But not the song that I quoted in that one. Or did I? Did I maybe get to that one? I might have. I don't know. I haven't listened to it in a while. But apparently you are all listening to it because it is the number one episode of 2023. Thanks, Weird Al fans, and thanks also fans of me. What other info does it give me here? Oh my goodness. Wow, that's how many downloads I got this year. Is that a big number? Is that a little number? I don't know. You can only know if you're watching the video version, because I'm not gonna lie, I do get a little bashful about how well my podcast is actually doing. I don't know what good numbers are for your first or second year. But slow and steady wins the race and all that. So I'm just gonna keep right at it. Well, this has been a happy thing. If you're watching the video version, here's how well my podcast did on a graph. You'll notice I get little popularity bumps, and then people go, wow, that next one wasn't very good. And then I got a real spike here. This was a pretty good year. I'm really happy with how the podcast is going this year. And then, I'm not going to lie, a little bit of a dipsy-do. I don't know what was happening around September. I must have put out one heck of an episode in September. Yeah, there you go. There's a graph, if that makes sense to you in any way at all whatsoever. And yeah, I've also just got the list of episodes up. So I thought maybe I could walk down nostalgia lane and just think about some of them. We had those sick beats. We had that secret gimmick. I did a Benoit Blanc impression that was not great. The one with randomized adjectives in it, more music. Gang, I drank raw eggs, reviewed the taste of them, and then translated the whole episode into Japanese and then back to English. That was way too much work for almost nobody to listen to it, but nevertheless, check out that egg one. We got one with a bunch of Britney Spears lyrics in it again. More music. The Chitty Chitty Bang Bang one, I really love that one. That was a fun one to do. Just snatched a spider directly out of the air. Did everybody catch that? Yeah, that was some Miyagi shit right there. Hear me out about J.K. Rowling, which is the only time in the history of this show that I offered to make a nonsense title for an episode if someone with a certain name joined my Patreon. I ended up dropping that gimmick because it literally only paid off once, and not that many people are joining my Patreon anyway. But the one time it happened, thank you, Kenneth. Hear me out about J.K. Rowling has nothing to do with J.K. Rowling. That one is actually about mermaid gossip. Mama Fratelli Feminist Icon, that is of course the first appearance of Protein Lump. Cutting Up Star Wars, talked about a fan re-edit of the prequels. I reviewed an album by a band whose name I constantly forget, Geckos, 1 Million Geckos. That's the name of the band. My apologies to all the Norse. I do not remember what that one was about. Let me click on through. Yeah, some of these are more memorable than others. Oh, that was the random Bible verses one. Yeah, nobody liked that. My bad Frenching. I also don't remember what that one was. Oh, that's the one with a cave echo effect on it. Yeah, not my best. Then they get good again. My dearest Jezebellum. That is, of course, the one that is in the style of a Ken Burns Civil War documentary. Secretly live from Dr. Ouch's house. That was when I recorded an episode in a friend's house without their knowledge. That was fun. And then, of course, he came back the next week to tell me that that was okay and everything was copacetic. Episode 69 happened in 2023, so of course it had to be Bill and Ted themed, and I did a San Dimas accent while talking about dudes that are 69 inches tall, which is why 69 Dudes is the perfect title. I think also some dudettes and maybe some NBDudes. We need to come up with the non-binary term for dude, which is probably still dude if you ask any Californian. An alien invasion broadcast, boy, that one was weird. I got brainwashed and I killed 75... I'm not allowed to talk about that per the government. Sorry, let's move on. Help Dracula plan a summer vacation. Recorded that one in a closet. Dracula did not come backula. And I love when people sponsored Dracula topics, hoping that would bring him back, but he was his own entity. Waiting for Dracula. That one was weird. Once again, Drac did not show. The Job Hunter. That one is another secret gimmick, I guess. I think, oh gosh, okay, that one was weird. I'm not gonna lie, I need to figure out what's a gimmick and what's a topic and find the line on what's what. But that one's interesting because once again, you don't know what I'm doing in that video, in that episode. You have to see it over on Patreon. One of my favorite episodes that nobody seems to like, prominent ladyboat Daniel Webster. The gimmick was to talk at half speed. So you have to manually play the podcast at double speed. I love that one. It was a really fun challenge to have to talk at half speed the whole time. But I guess a lot of people saw that and said, I'm not bothering to hit one button on my podcast thing. Or maybe it's just not a good episode, but I thought it came out pretty good. Back to the Future for Memory. Well, that was just me saying, hey, I made it to 75 episodes and I want to celebrate by proving that I know the movie Back to the Future really well. Sure, whatever, it's my show, I get to do what I want. Unless you pay me to do stuff, I don't know. But hey, everything's made up and the points don't matter. Don't worry about it. The Missing Episode. That happened this year. And with that one, once we get to the gimmick zone, the episode ends. You do not get to hear the episode. Unless you pop over to Patreon, as things always go. Not gonna lie, that was the one where I had to answer questions from anonymous people, and I could not lie. To boldly explore Siaku, great. Star Trek one, super fun. Listeners like you, that one was like a PBS pledge drive. First and currently only appearance of Janice McGunt. Not a fan favorite character, I guess. The One Stooge. That's the one where I was Curly Howard. None of the other Stooges ever won a poll, so it's just the One Stooge. I wasn't prepared for Nickelback, and I'm not prepared for what this episode was about. What was the gimmick on that one? Oh, I had to act like I was drunk. Fun. The Hanani Toot Theorem. I had to fully script a deep dive episode about whatever the topic was that came up, And boy howdy, was it an incredibly complicated one. That one sounds nothing like a typical CarCast episode. I realize I'm going through these one by one, and that's going to make the episode gigantic, so let's keep going. I did one as HAL 9000. I did one like Sex in the City. I did one like a used car commercial. I did one like a poetry slam. I did one next to a train crossing. The train never came. I did one like Doc Brown. That was episode 88. That was fun. And I also think that was the moment where I realized I probably shouldn't do copyrighted characters and just do pastiches of them. So I'm pretty sure that's the last occurrence of me actually doing a character. So none of that. Shove a Nip in there. That's the one where I'm actually drunk. Though a couple of you said I wasn't drunk enough. Hey, it was a work night. Maybe I'll do that one again and I'll just make the gimmick more drunk than last time. Set it to a pop song and shake your ass. That one I recorded in a town square. Sadly, no one came to talk to me. The fair of it all, I recorded that one at the fair. Johnny G'day knows what bat piss tastes like. Well, that's the first appearance of Johnny G'day because I had to do it like a Crocodile Hunter episode. See what I did there? Now it's legally safe. I'm not going to say the title of this one, but a Candyman was involved. I'm afraid to say it again, especially wearing what I'm wearing right now. Suffer for Safety Pinhead, Do It Like Hellraiser, the Halloween Horror Review, and the gimmick was I had to use a witchboard. That one's really, really worth checking out the video on Patreon. Highly recommend that one. Some freaky shit happens in that one. List of films set around May Day. That one I had to, instead of talk about the topic, I had to compose a piece of music about the topic. A piece with no words. I think it came out pretty good. The Good People of Waikaya. I forget what the gimmick was there. I had to incorporate 10 lines from a random philosophy book. I am still not going to tell you what philosophy book it was, but it is bonkers. I like Soft Cats. That's when I had my 2-year-old niece on the show. Wasn't she a hoot? The best thing about that gimmick is I can do it every year because the number's just going to go up by 1. So you heard it here first, folks. You may have invite my 3-year-old niece on the show. The boat episode, which went just great without a hitch. That's a Hundo, the 100th episode special where I had a bunch of characters come back. Bleep, where I bleeped all the nouns. It was incredibly hard to edit and is borderline unlistenable. So nevertheless, got some downloads, which surprises me. And then, of course, Jingle Season 2, the new batch, the episode that just went by. Hope you liked that one. A lot happened in it. And there will be some ramifications from it as well, which I will reveal on a later episode, but not this one because the gimmick is happy. But some unhappiness has definitely entered my life, and I'm happy to tackle those challenges head on. There's your teaser going into the new year. Let me get another sip of champagne nog. Surprisingly not sweet. All right. So I'm going to wrap this like I wrapped last year's year in review episode by playing you a supercut of all the ending wisdom that I left you with at the end of each episode. I'd say all the as always, but not all of them featured the phrase as always, but most of them did. I will leave you with that, but I think it is fun to point out that for the episode you're listening to right now, one of the gimmicks the gimmicks was just a 4-word phrase, and I wasn't intending to take it seriously at all. That phrase was Happy New Year, bitches. And people were able to vote. So I think that the sign-off for this episode should be the words that got votes in the order of popularity. So, happy got 66% of the votes, and bitches got 33% of the votes. So, as always, happy bitches. People are talking very loudly in the hallway, and I'm not going to miss living here. Oops, spilled the beans for you extra patrons. I'm getting out of here. This location is no more. Don't know exactly when that's happening. But since you video viewers get a little extra content, I thought I would give you a lot of extra content. You don't get to hear the montage of all the ending wisdom here, but to make that up to you, you wonderful video viewers, I'm going to show you the first and the best Christmas present I got this year, okay? Now, I'm going to preface this right away. If you're not a Trekkie, this is not going to seem as interesting to you. But this is what Mr. X got me for Christmas. And by the way, you should go listen to Mr. X's episode where he reviews the entirety of Star Trek, the original series. This is kind of spoilery to the whole thing. But I'm just so psyched by this present that I cannot wait to share it with all of you, because it is a Star Trek V, The Final Frontier craft marshmallow dispenser. This is from the film Star Trek V, which, if you haven't seen it, Spock has a little gizmo that dispenses marshmallows. Now, they never explain what it's doing. Are there just marshmallows in it and then they come out? Is it replicating them? Do they have that technology at that point? I don't know. Someone nerdier than me, let me know. Mr. X's theory was that they're dehydrated marshmallows and it's rehydrating them or reconstituting them or whatever. But as you can see, just like in the movie, it's got a little hole that the schmellows come out of. And what you do is, and yes, Mr. X was kind enough to give me some schmellows so that I could play with it. You load them into the schmello canister. I may have done this incorrectly. So you load them into the schmello canister. You tuck them in there. And then you go on a camping trip with your family, who probably wishes you were a normal child. And then you go, hey everybody, who needs a marshmallow? Or if you've seen the movie, a marshmelon. What a clever and fun movie Star Trek V is. And then you go, gee Dad, I got a marshmallow. And you open the little window and then it pushes one out, kind of, sort of. And now you have a marshmallow that you can hand to your parent or guardian. Anyway, I am over the moon that this exists, because until I got it as a Christmas present, I didn't know they did an official tie-in with the movie. I just thought William Shatner had a weird thing about marshmallows, and now I find out this was an official tie-in. I sadly do not have the magazine ad that came with it, but yeah, they sold these things. And by the way, you had to send away for this thing. Now, is it worth it? Oops, what the hell? Is it worth it? I mean, I'll tell you right now, I think Mr. X paid like $100 for this on eBay, so worth it to me. But it comes with some special offers. Save 10 cents when you buy craft marshmallows. And you can join forces with the Star Trek fan club. Hitting me just now. Join forces. Did someone think this was Star Wars and realize too late? Anyway, enlist today in the Star Trek fan club is what I would have written. So there you go. I kind of want to look up if the official Star Trek fan club is still at this address. But then the best part of the whole thing, and this is a special holiday message to you and yours, it comes with a signed letter from Admiral James T. Kirk. And if you don't know your Trek that well, he's an admiral at this point in the films, Star Trek V. Shall I read to you? This is my holiday message to you from Admiral James T. Kirk. Congratulations. Enclosed is your marshmallow dispenser, fork, spoon, and belt ring. The marshmallow dispenser will hold up to 4 craft jet-puffed marshmallows. The official marshmallow of the USS Enterprise. To load the dispenser with marshmallows, slide the blue lever back about halfway, just enough to open the door. Fill with marshmallows. Close the door by sliding the lever up. To dispense marshmallows, slide the lever down. The marshmallow dispenser is not recommended for children under 3 years old. That's very wise, Admiral Kirk. You can store the fork and spoon. You can store the fork and spoon. I forgot to show you the fork and spoon. It does come with a fork and spoon. Why, I do not know. You can store the fork and spoon inside the empty dispenser or clip it to your belt or almost anything, making it portable and easy to carry. It is ideal for camping trips. That I can picture Captain Kirk saying. Excuse me, Admiral Kirk. To use belt attachment, insert end of blue plastic ring through opening at end of dispenser. Slip spoon and fork on ring and then through pants belt loop. Line up ends of plastic ring over one another and snap together. Signed, Admiral James T. Kirk. If I could have one wish, it would be to instantly be transported back in time to see just one Trekkie who the rest of their family is not Trekkies on a camping trip and just making a big deal out of this while their parents are constantly bickering. I just want to see that scene. Mom, wait, I've got the marshmallows. They're in the bag. I don't understand. Just let him. Let him, Stuart. Let him. Anyway. That is my amazing Christmas gift. That's the one to beat. Not saying anyone else out there should buy me anything or whatever. But you should donate to the show. I never thanked the listeners in the body of the show. And here's why. Well, no. I'm making excuses. I did it in the 100th episode. And it was very heartfelt and very long. And I guess it just slipped my mind to do it also in the year-ender. That's on me. Oh boy, I suck. Hey, we're out of the gimmick zone, so I don't have to be happy anymore. Sorry about that. Should have done more of a thank you to all the listeners. And I didn't. Anyway, see you in 2024. Hopefully. Because, yeah, I gotta find a new place to live real fast. I got evicted for Christmas, which sounds like a Hallmark movie, but a really sad one. Let's go out on a happy note. You're wonderful and great, and I have nog to chug. Catch ya on the 2024 side. Oh.